Hey, what's up, guys? Bless up for another video. You'll be hard pressed to find anybody more passionate about family, marriage, and what it's supposed to be in community than me. I mean, it is like God breathed this stuff into me. I get so excited. I've studied relationships for a long time. In fact, I got a few books I want to recommend that I've read over a few years. Um, this is one. I don't know. You guys can't really see it, and it's all dirty and marked up. But it's called For Men Only. It's by Shaunti and Jeff Feldhahm, and they have a For Women Only. We're gonna really dive into that subject today. I think it's so powerful and I think it's so important. I read the statistics that almost just made me throw up. It said African Americans, Black Americans are married at a 38% rate. And look, I know what people are going to say. The money issues, the poverty, the this, the that. At some point, we got to be stronger than what we're going through. And I believe you build your foundation on your relationships and God. But anyway, For Men Only, that's a book out there. For Women Only, that's a book out there that y'all can grow in or read. Another one is What Every Woman Ought to Know About Marriage. What Every Woman Ought to Know About Marriage by Joyce Brothers. This is a book I picked up not a while ago. The other book I have years ago. This one I picked up not long ago. I think that's a good material. Another book is, crap, I done read the dang title of this book. Wow. Yikes. Wow. I read the title of this book, really? Oh, wow. Look, I'm not kidding. Wow. It's dirty and its title is missing. Anyway, I read the title off that one. That was a really, really good one. Lot of little nuggets. Let's see if I can give a few of them. Let's see. A lot of little nuggets like find empathy and compassion. Affection is the greatest aphrodisiac. And be loyal. And it seemed like simple things, but this book was actually very sweet. I love this one. Let's see, cope well with conflict, and that's a very, very important thing. Cope well with conflict. Make time to be together. Balance work, home, and play. Assume nothing. Seek only the truth. That's another little building block. Be generous. Oh, that is a good one. I like that. Be generous. Keep attraction vibrant. That's another little nugget. Embrace intimacy. That's another very important one. Embrace intimacy. Respect each other. I just heard something a while ago that said, and couples who are married long term, like long term, like they said 15 years is communication. Couples who've been married 20 and 30 years and over, they speak about respecting each other. So respect is big. Share enjoyment of food. And I'm not going to talk about this book. I got another book I'm talking about, but this is, when you study stuff, it's a passion, it's whatever. Accept and tolerate. Wow. I might have to mark that one down myself, and I haven't even read this book in a while. Accept and tolerate. Accept and tolerate. Another nugget. Be artist. Create your relationship with care and beauty. All right, another one. Preserve. That's number 21. Agree about having or not having children. That is a very sticky topic, but I guess it's true. Find solidarity as parents. That's very important. And I'm going to read one more, guys, because that's not what I'm talking about. Take times to be yourself. So anyway, this is a good, Believe is another one. Be compatible. This is a really good, this book is really good, but I forgot the name of it, so you guys have to forgive me for that one. Anywho, back to the video. So I want to talk about this particular book, which is The 7 Habits of Highly Effective Families by Stephen Covey. And I love the start of it. And I'm gonna read through this one. That's why I have to make sure, because it's gonna be a long video. I already know it, but I'm gonna read through this one. I love how he says, building a beautiful family in a turbulent world. This book was written probably 12 years ago, so in some places a little dated. And I say some because for him to say building a beautiful family in um, turbulent times, the power of that is if they was turbulent 12 to 15 years ago, they're much more turbulent now. He spoke about the importance of a family mission statement. And I think that's so important because I never heard about that. In fact, I often laugh. I say, who do you hear about relationships from? You don't hear about it from your grandmother. You don't hear a lot about it from your great aunt and uncles. You don't, America has such a kind of a distaste to relationships that if you're young and you're inquiring about relationship wisdom, most times people are going to say, don't do it. Don't do it. Run from it. We've developed such a type of weirdness with relationships where it's not encouraged. Love is not encouraged. And then another thing that I talk about sometimes, it's minimized in a nature. So instead of love including grandmother, grandfather, aunt, uncle, cousin, mom, sister, brother, it isolates and it just includes one man and one woman. And the issue with that is when you're going through this American society, whether it's economically, emotionally, physically, having children, you're going to need others there on that journey because just being two people, you begin to weigh it down. What a lot of people don't realize, people talk about the Bible, in the ancient Hebraic and the Eastern culture, what a lot of times happened is the wife would stay with the man and his family. But the man will build a home on the land of his family. So that was still community. You hear a lot of people quote Genesis when it says, you leave your father and your mother and unite to your wife. That is true. You're uniting in oneness and in sex and in production, but you're not disconnected from your family. You're not way another country. Now, of course, some people are nowadays because it's a different time. But the point I'm making is you were connected. It was a power of connection there, but America isolates, and I think that really pumps up the mental instability. Why you have so many people who are stressed out and running on low fumes because they're looking at relationships and family as isolated. It was never supposed to be isolated. So anyway, I took that afar, but family mission statement. So let's read a little bit. This is going to be fun. Like I said, the book is The 7 Habits of Highly Effective Families, and I think it's very important to study relationships, read about books. If you're a woman, read about books on femininity, books on how to foster your relationship or your marriage. If you're a man, read about books on how to be a husband and books on your relationship. And women, study books on relationships with women because that's so important because you obviously would have a woman. All right, guys, let's start. Let's read a little bit. We're just gonna browse through this, maybe do a little light reading, guys, and hope it's a blessing. The end in mind. The end in mind. A beautiful family culture. It says now this is about the 7 habits of highly effective families. So what is effectiveness in the family? I suggest it can be captured in 4 words. A beautiful family culture. A beautiful family culture. And that's so important, man. That's a foundation, man. You gotta build it on a solid rock. I'm saying that. Okay, let's continue and let me shut up about me teaching or whatever. Anyway, when I say culture, I'm talking about the spirit of family in the feeling, the vibes, the chemistry, the climate or atmosphere in the home. It's the character of the family, the depth, quality, and maturity of the relationships. It's the way family members relate to one another. That's very important, guys. It's the way family members relate to one another and how they feel about one another. It's the spirit or feeling that grows out of collective patterns and behavior that categorize family interaction. And these things, like the tip of an iceberg, come out of unseen mass shared beliefs and values underneath. Wow, shared beliefs and values underneath. When I talk about family, a beautiful family culture, I realize that the word beautiful mean It may mean different things to different people, but I'm using it to describe a nurturing culture. Wow. Oh, that's already so good to me. A nurturing culture where family members deeply, sincerely, and genuinely enjoy being together, where they have a sense of shared beliefs and values, where they act and interact in ways that really work. So you're not just saying we're family, you interact in ways that really work based on principles that govern in all of life. I'm talking about a culture that has moved from me to we. I'm talking about a culture that has moved from me to we. Well, I want to circle that one. I want to circle that one. Family itself is a we experience, a we mentality. Oh, y'all don't realize how good this stuff is because it's counterculture. That's why, and I'm not trying to be dramatic, but it's counterculture. You turn on your TV, it's gonna be a sitcom of a man fighting a woman fighting her homegirl. It's a bunch of crap, man. This is what we need to be doing. The movement from me to we, from independence to interdependence is perhaps one of the most challenging and difficult aspects of family life. But like the road less traveled spoken of in Robert Frost's poem, it's the road that makes all the difference. Despite the priority that American culture clearly places on individual freedom, immediate gratification, efficiency, and control, there is literally no road laden with as much joy and satisfaction as the road of interdependent family living. Boy, he's starting off with a punch. This is page 20 of The 7 Habits of Highly Effective Families by Stephen Covey. When your happiness comes primarily from the happiness of others, you know you have moved from me to we. When your happiness comes primarily from the happiness of others, you know you have moved from me to we. And the whole problem solving and opportunity seizing process changing. That's a very important thing. A lot of times as people, especially in this culture, everybody's problem oriented. But when you're moved from me to we, and you have a family centered culture, it's about how do we solve the problem. That's one reason why foreigners come to this country and they elevate, because they don't see a problem. They see how do we put our nickels together to solve that problem. Let's continue. And the whole problem solving opportunity process changes. But until family is really a priority, this movement does not usually take place. Oh, this is so good. Marriage often becomes nothing more than two singles living together. What I say a while ago, guys? What did I say? Because the movement from independence to interdependence never happened. A beautiful family culture is a we culture. It reflects that movement. It's the kind of culture that enables you to work together, to select and to move forward together, destination, and to contribute to make a difference in society in general, and perhaps to other families in particular. Well, I said that also. It also enables you to deal with the powerful forces that will throw you off track, including turbulent weather outside the plane, the culture we live in, and things such as economic dislocation. I just talked about that. Economic dislocation, sudden illness, which you have no control over, the turbulent social weather inside the cockpit, contention, lack of communication, the tendency to criticize, complain, compare, and compete. 21, another point, involve your family. I would like to suggest that you involve your family from the beginning. Keep in mind that when you're working with family, slow is fast and fast is slow. I'm not going to read on that one. Never ever give up. continue. And like I said, this is the 7 habits of highly effective families. And I'm trying to get read another section and that was really good. Okay, guys, let's go. This is another section. I had to cut the air off to make this video so it wouldn't be too loud. Listen to your language. Wow. Listen to your language. One of the best ways to tell whether you're in your circle of influence or circle of concern is listen to your own language. If you're in your circle of concern, your language will be of blaming, accusing, reactive. I can't believe the way these kids are behaving. They're driving me crazy. My spouse is so considerate. Why did my father have to be an alcoholic? If you're in the circle of influence, your language will be proactive. It will reflect a focus on things you can do something about. I can help create rules in our family that will enable the children to learn about the consequences of their behavior. I can look for opportunities to teach and to reinforce positive behavior. I can be considerate. I can model the kind of loving interaction I would like to see in my marriage. So I like that. And this one says building the emotional bank account. And I'm just browsing through, guys. This is a thick book. I'm not going to read all this. Building the emotional. It says you can choose to make deposits instead of withdrawals. No matter what the situation, there are always things you can do that will make relationships better. That's very important too, because you don't want to be putting so much negative into your relationships that's all you're really able to deposit. Another little thing, little kindness go a long way to building relationships of trust and unconditional love. Just think about the impact in your own family of using words or phrases such as thank you, please, excuse me, you go first, may I help you. Very simple little things, guys. Or performing unexpected acts of kindness such as helping with the dishes, taking children shopping for something that's important to them, phoning to see if there's anything you can pick up at the store on the way home, or finding little ways to express love such as sending flowers, tucking a note in a lunchbox or briefcase, or phoning to say I love you in the middle of the day, or expressing gratitude and appreciation, giving sincere compliments or showing recognition, not just at times of special achievement or on occasions such as birthdays, but on ordinary days, just because your spouse or your children are who they are. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And that was for the user example, but I want to keep going. Apologizing. That's another big one, guys. I just love this stuff. I hope it's a little bit of use to somebody. Like I always say, if it's one person that's blessed, cool. Apologizing. Perhaps there is nothing that tests our proactive capacity as much as saying I'm sorry to another person. If your security is based on your image or your position or on being right, to apologize is like draining all the juice from your ego. It wipes you out. It pushes every one of your human gifts to its limit. Next to this is titled being loyal to those not present. Wow. Next to apologizing, the toughest and one of the most important deposits an individual can make or an entire family can adopt as a fundamental value and commitment is to be loyal to family members when they are not present. In other words, talk about others as if they was present. That doesn't mean you are unaware of their weaknesses and Polyneaisms and take the ostrich head in the sand approach. It means rather that you usually focus on the positive rather than the negative. And if you do talk about those weaknesses, you do it in a responsible and a constructive way, that you would not be ashamed or have those you're talking about over here be ashamed to have those you're talking about over here conversation. Wow. Oh, and I got to work on that. That's very powerful. That's very powerful. The way you treat any relationship in the family will eventually affect every relationship in the family. Wow. The way you treat any relationship in the family will eventually affect every relationship in the family. You will always be a victim until you forgive. For many people, the ultimate test of the proactive muscle comes in forgiving. In fact, you will always be a victim until you forgive. Wow. All right, let's continue. These are just little sound bites of the book I'm giving, guys, because it's too big to read all of this. It isn't the snake bite that does the serious damage. It's chasing the snake that drives the poison to the heart. It isn't the snake bite that does the serious damage. It's chasing the snake that drives the poison to the heart. Another one says, when we live primarily laws of love, we encourage obedience to the primary laws of life. That's pretty cool. When we live the primary laws of love, we encourage obedience to the primary laws of life. By loving people unconditionally, you unleash their natural power to become their better self. Wow, that's a nugget, guys. By loving people unconditionally, that's deep. You unleash their natural power to become their better self. And you can only do this when you separate the person from the behavior and believe in unseen potential. Let's go down, guys. Many people who have never received unconditional love have never developed a sense of intrinsic worth, struggle all their lives for approval and recognition. To compensate for impoverished, empty, hollow feelings they have inside, they borrow strength from a position of power, status, money, possessions, credentials, or reputation. They often become very narcissistic, interpreting everything personally, and their very behavior is so distasteful that others reject them, throwing fuel on the fire. That's why these primary laws of love are so important. They affirm the basic worth of the individual, and people who have been loved unconditionally are then free to develop their own strength through integrity to their own inner compass. That was a lot. Yikes. Wow, that was a lot. You make deposits by being kind, by apologizing, being loyal to those not present, making and keeping promises, and forgiving. Another little nugget. The key to all other habits, habit one, be proactive is the key that unlocks the door to all of the habits. In fact, you'll find that people who continually avoid taking responsibility and initiative will not only be fully cultivated, will not be able to fully cultivate any other habits. Instead, they'll be out of their circle of concern, usually blaming and accusing others for their situation, because when people are not true to their conscience, they basically take out their guilt on others. Most anger is merely guilt overflowing. Habit number one embodies the gift that we as humans uniquely have, the power to choose. Next to life itself, is there a greater gift? The truth is, the basic solution to our problem lies within us. We can't escape the nature of things, like it or not. Let's skip a little bit. Not only can an individual be proactive, but an entire family can be proactive. I like that. Not only can an individual be proactive, but an entire family. A family can become a transition family inside their intergenerational family or extended family or to other families with whom they come in contact with. All of the four gifts can be collectivized so that instead of self-awareness, you have family awareness. Instead of individual consciousness, you have a social conscious. Instead of a one person's imagination or vision, you have a shared vision. And instead of independent will, you have a social will. Then all the members of the family are able to say in their own words, this is what we are like. We are people of conscious and vision, people who act on our awareness and what's happening and what needs to happen. How this transformation take place and how the proactive muscle is developed and used in a marvelous way is found in habit number 2. Begin with the end in mind. All right. Number 2. Beginning with the end in mind means to create a clear and compelling vision of what you and your family are all about. Going back to the airplane metaphor, define your destination. Having your destination clearly in mind affects every decision on the way. And guys, I'm gonna get ready to wrap this up. We're about 30 minutes in, and I might study a little bit of this off the camera. The habit number 2 is based on the principle of vision, and vision is powerful. It's the principle that enables prisoners of war to survive. Research shows it's what gives successful children the drive to succeed. It's a moving power behind successful individuals and organizations in every walk of life. Vision is greater than baggage, yeah, greater than the negative baggage of the past and even the accumulative baggage of the present. Tapping into this sense of vision gives you the power and the purpose to rise above the baggage and based on what really matters most. Now, there are many ways to apply the principle of vision. To begin with the end in mind in the family culture, you can begin a year, a week, a day with the end in mind. You can begin a family experience or activity with the end in mind. You can begin a season of dance or piano lessons or especially family dinner or building a new home in search of family pet with the end in mind. A family mission statement. I'm going to end with this one. A family mission statement is a combined, and this is going down some. So this is right after building a new home and search for a family pet with the end in mind. But this chapter, we're going to focus on the most profound, significant, and far-reaching application of begin with the end in mind. In the family, the creation of a family mission statement. A family mission statement is a combined, unified expression from all family members of what your family is all about and the principles you choose to govern your life. Whew, that was quite a bit. This is the 7 habits of highly effective families by Stephen Covey. Did a little reading. The other books I talked about was For Men Only and For Women Only by Shaunti and Jeff Feldhahm. I think I'm pronouncing that right. What Every Woman Ought to Know About Marriage. And the other book, which I've read the cover of, and I don't know what it is, guys. That family, that marriage, that relationship, that man and woman, that is one of the most pressing issues in this day. And we have to get very serious about it. We have to get serious about desiring it and serious about building it. And we can't be like the world. The world, they get together in lust and then they flame out when it doesn't get easy. They flame out by arrogance and pride and fighting and all that crap. Man, hey, we children of the Most High God, we better love our people. We better love them and we better forgive them consistently. When they asked the Messiah how many times I forgive, he said 70 times 7. Why? If we need forgiveness, and we do, we've all have sinned, guys. Y'all know your personal sins just like I know mine. We all have sinned. But if we are forgiven to our mate, our brother, our sister, our mom, our dad, our cousin, then the Father is just to forgive us, guys. Be blessed. Peace.